my name is Munderloh, and I graduated this year from the University of St. Andrews with a PhD in German Studies and with a thesis titled The Emergence of Post-Hybrid Identities, a comparative analysis of national identity formation in Germany's contemporary hip-hop culture. The research questions that led to this thesis were: how do hip-hop artists experience their urban, regional, and national space as their place of belonging? How do they express their German identity through hip-hop's main art forms? And what do the artists do to make hip-hop German, and what does this reveal about their understanding of national culture and identity? And with main art forms, I refer to 4 elements of hip-hop that I compare throughout the study. The first is rap, followed by music in terms of DJing or music production. Then we have dance, which refers to all styles and genres of hip-hop dance. And lastly, graffiti art. And the emphasis is on art because I look at the picture as a whole and not only a name written on a wall. I have been asked many times, why did I actually use hip-hop for this study on identity in contemporary Germany and on hybridity as well? One of the answers is because hip-hop culture is all about representing one's city, region, and or nation, and being proud of where one comes from and having a sense of belonging. At the same time, hip-hop is also about the freedom of mixing different cultural traditions and knowledge into a new cultural product, a new art form, move, whatever, and a personal product. At the same time, in reference to Germany, at the time when I started the research in 2010, 2011, street rap or gangsta rap was very big in Germany. And it had a very growing negative and provocative image of being a cultural expression of the minority and of the aggressive lower social class. And I wanted to distance myself from this image and actually show the productive side and even positive side of hip-hop for German society. In order to break down the study in this vast German landscape, I chose 2 cities in which to conduct a comparative analysis. These are Hamburg and Oldenburg. Hamburg over here, Oldenburg over here. Now, why Hamburg and Oldenburg? First, they haven't been subject to any full-length study on hip-hop to date. Most studies are on Berlin, Frankfurt, Heidelberg, so I thought I'd add new cities in the hip-hop study landscape. Second, they are very different cities. Hamburg is a metropolitan city with almost 2 million inhabitants. The hip-hop down there is very professional. People live off of their hip-hop art forms. In contrast, Oldenburg is very small, provincial. Hip-hop is done as a pastime, very private. Nobody knows about it. So that was very interesting to have these 2 perspectives. On the other hand, as you saw on the map previously, they both share this northern German region, and I enjoyed that they have one level of commonality. Lastly, including Oldenburg in the city means that I also include a large ethnic majority of hip-hop artists, since hip-hop is often seen as the art form of an ethnic minority. I want to change that up as well. So my theoretical framework is adapted from Edward Soja in his book Third Space, published in 1996. I have 3 components. The first is spatiality, and I look at the material and metaphorical city spaces of hip-hop, city spaces belonging to the region or to Germany as a whole. Then I look at hip-hop as a culturally hybrid art movement, since it's all about mixing, and this is captured in the component of historicality. And this makes sense because hybridity is often seen as a temporal development, because you use something that was there in the past and combine it with something that's there now and produce something new or something different. And lastly, I look at the presentation and management of the national self, of the identity of the artist. My research methods comprise interviews that I conducted with the research subjects, also participant observation to compare what I've heard and what I see. And lastly, I conducted close readings of hip-hop's cultural texts. And by cultural texts, I mean the choreography, lyrics, the typographical aspects of a graffiti piece, and the musical strategies of songs. So after 9 months of fieldwork, 3 of them spent in Oldenburg and another 6 spent in Hamburg, and gathering all this new data and analyzing it, I've come to some findings that I will summarize right here. One is that artists have a very strong sense of belonging to Germany, whether it's to their city, region, or nation, and this is regardless of their cultural or national background. They use hip-hop actually to strengthen this local bond rather than to express dissatisfaction. Second is that hip-hop in Germany is the result of cultural hybridization, which was expected. However, in order to make hip-hop German or a German cultural hybrid product, a lot of German language is used, for instance in lyrics, or German cultural codes are used, for instance in graffiti pieces, or a lot of cultural codes and references to classical music is made, such as this picture right here with DJs in their tuxedo playing hip-hop music. Oftentimes this classical reference is used to elevate the status and the perception of hip-hop as German and elevate it from the street to theater stages. My last finding, which I wasn't expecting, is that some hybridization processes reveal that hybridization of hip-hop is not used to create something new, but actually to reinforce something that is already there. And I call this a post-hybrid state of German national identity. For instance, I've met a lot of breakdancers who say, I am German because I was born and raised here, however my parents are of Kurdish or Turkish African descent, and growing up I experienced a lot of dance at home because we used to dance at weddings and other social events, and this access to dance helped me become engaged with breakdance, and now I represent my city, I represent my nation at international contests, and they're proud of being able to represent Germany. So they used this cultural knowledge that they had from home, mixed it with their current state and status as Germans, and in the end wanted to be German with it and not something else. So post-hybridity refers to a state in which being German is inclusive of other cultural traditions, backgrounds, and ethnicities, for example. One moment. I'll look into the future with my findings. I hope that the findings from the study can be transferred to wider German society, and especially the current cultural situation where we have a lot of influx of new cultures arriving in Germany, and that the findings can contribute to understanding the constant change and development of national identity formations, and that it's normal that you have hybrid identities, you have post-hybrid identities, and you just have ethnic German identities. Second, hip-hop can also be a mobilizer towards successful integration and intercultural communication in Germany. Many examples in my thesis showed that breakdance especially can contribute to integration because hip-hop is there to mix different cultural awarenesses into one, and even though, yes, you need the German language to make a German, the first step is that you can mobilize people and bring them together, and you don't need a language barrier, or you don't have a language barrier. So maybe hip-hop can be used more widely for matters of intercultural communication and integration. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me at marissa.munderloh@yahoo.com. Thank you very much.